Two guys in their early 50s with one dream: to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. There's times in your life when you don't know that you just need to hear something. And I feel like, from my perspective at least, Andy Walker, I needed that injection of two guys with one dream to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. Just to, just get that back in there. Remember
For the 99th time.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, we're one short of the ton. So all we've got to do is just play conservative, just push one through covers and run hard. That's it. And we're there. We can raise the bat.
No stupid calls and unnecessary run-outs at this stage of the game, Andy Walker, is my advice. I don't want any yes, no, sorry.
Yeah. No.
Type scenarios.
No.
No Michael Slaters from the 1990s.
No. I think Warnie had a 99, top score of 99, didn't he, as well?
So, interesting point. Warnie he never got a test 100. His highest score, you're correct.
That was a commentator's curse, wasn't it? Didn't
better than that. I've got a better story for you than that.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Walker. I don't know if you've heard this, but strap yourself in. So it was against New Zealand. And he hit a sweep shot and was caught on the deep mid-wicket boundary off the bowling of Daniel Vettori, left-arm orthodox spinner.
Yep.
It was a no ball.
Oh, seriously?
It wasn't called, and it was in the days before the third umpire checked front foot no balls for every dismissal.
Wow.
Go back and look at the footage.
Yeah.
Vettori was well and truly over the line. It was a no. It should have been called back. Warnie should have had a test 100.
Yep.
God rest his soul.
Yep. Yeah. Did lots of other great things. SK Warne. Yeah. Shane Keith. Yeah.
Not to be confused with David Clarence Boone or Donald George Bradman. Oh, wow. We are so off topic. It's not funny.
Absolutely.
That's great middle names of Australian Test cricketers. That's a whole podcast series in itself. But that's not this one, because this one is the Missing Links Golf Show. We're here to talk to you about golf, and that is what we are going to do, Andy Walker. And I'm happy to say...
Bit of golf's been played. I'm very happy to hear.
Yeah, from what I hear, a lot of golf's been played.
A lot of golf's been played. No, not enough, and then too much.
Yeah, you want to play as often as possible, but not too much at the one time.
Yeah.
I think is the story. But we will get to that, because what we need to do first, and we've been a little bit slack on this front, and I take full responsibility for this, Andy Walker, not your fault at all, is we need to wrap up the month that was for the Missing Links Golf Show yearly championship for the month of September.
Well, there's been a few holidays, so I mean, it can't be too hard on you.
Thanks. I appreciate the understanding. Nevertheless, Pilgrims, I do apologise for the tardiness in getting these results out. But let's crack into that, Andy Walker, because it was quite a month in terms of the yearly championship. There was a bit that happened. There was a few rounds of golf. There were some unexpected results.
Yep. I do realise that I didn't get a round of golf in September. Well, not a comp round anyway. I did actually get a comp round in it when I was on holidays in Penang. But yeah, unfortunately, that didn't really go down as a comp round and couldn't get submitted into the yearly championship. Not that it would have won any points anyway, but that's a whole different story.
That is a moot point in and of itself. So there were a few rounds, in fact, so many rounds that came in that unfortunately my two rounds at the New South Wales Country Championships at the beautiful Cowra Golf Club with 30 and 31 points respectively did not feature in the top 6 point scoring, which I know will come as a surprise to many. But nevertheless, at least I did play a comp round or two in the month. I still don't get any points. Doesn't really make any difference. But
there were two comp rounds.
There were. And I enjoyed them. So takes us to the point. So in sixth place, scoring, I'm happy to say, his inaugural point in the yearly championship. And you know where this is going, Andy.
I do know where that's going.
He takes a 1 point lead over you in the yearly championship. It gives me great pleasure to announce that in sixth place was Mick Patterson Well done, Mick.
What I make, I'm chasing.
It's exciting. I'm so excited about that result. So Mick Patterson, let me just add it all up. He's got what's 1 plus nothing. He's got 1 point in the yearly championship, Andy Walker, and you've got, hang on a minute, just go through that. You've got 0. Mick's got a 1 point lead. That's great. Such good work. So
is Mick a front runner, do you think?
I'm going to go so far as to say that he cannot win the yearly championship from here.
But I mean, he did say after posting his score in the Facebook group that his main goal for this year was to beat me, which he is at the moment.
Yeah,
I mean,
he is.
Being honest,
yet to be played. October's yet to be played, but yes, he is in front technically on the scoreboard. I don't know. It's going to be a ding dong battle, I think.
We'll so that was 34 points. Yeah, that was
34.
If I remember correctly,
34 points. Yep, that's exactly what it was. We then move straight into a countback.
Ooh.
On 35 points. We've got both Ted from Mollymook and Lucas Anderson from not from Western Australia, but in fact from South Australia. Both on 35 points. Both had 9s of 17 and 18.
Ooh. Okay. Yep.
But not in the same order.
So someone's come home strong.
Slightly stronger. Slightly stronger. Which means that in 5th place with 2 yearly championship points to his tally is Lucas Anderson, South Australia.
Well done, Lucas.
Great work, Lucas. Meaning, of course, in 4th place and scoring 3 yearly championship points is Ted from Mollymook. Great work,
Ted. Well done, Ted. That's great work,
Ted. Just goes to show the value of getting a card in, doesn't it, Andy Walker?
It does. So get your card in, Pilgrims.
Yeah, that's right. You never know. Which takes us to 3rd place. In 3rd place with 36 Stableford points is Alex from New South Wales.
Well done, Alex.
Yeah, 3rd place, 36. Adds 5 points to his yearly championship tally. That's good work.
So where's Alex sitting now? He'd have to be right up there.
He's out of contention. It's fair to say. When I do the maths on this, there are 7 players who can still win the yearly championship. Alex is 9th.
Right. I was going to say, I thought he'd be top 10 at least.
Yeah, he's just outside.
Just snuck in there.
He's just outside. He's 5 points out of mathematically being able to win it. That's unfortunate, but so given it a good crack. Then in 3rd place, that was 3rd place. In second place. Second place. Strap yourself in for this one, Eddie Walker. 37 Stableford points. Donnie from Bathurst.
Donnie.
Dark Horse Donnie. Great
work. Well done, Donnie.
He's still in the running. He's now gone in front of me again, which is upsetting. Anyway.
So is that your nemesis in the yearly championship?
I guess it is. He doesn't know that, but I guess it is. I guess it is. And in 1st place with 39 Stableford points, cracking round of golf, 39 Stableford points, adding 10 points to his yearly championship tally, is James Armstrong from the old Dart from England. So
he's back in form. He's hit his straps right at the final hurdle, which is pretty good.
That's right. So
coming down the stretch, down strong.
He had a couple of wobbly months there. Did not play in August and finished just outside the points in July. But the 10 points, interestingly, our competition leader, Big Kerrod from Dubbo, did not feature during the month, which was a little unfortunate.
So didn't actually put a card in?
Didn't get a card in. And I don't know if you noticed, but on the Missing Links Golf Show podcast members Facebook group, Did put a bit of a sob story up about it as well, which was exciting.
Yeah,
The
right.
fact that he'd had a bit of illness at the front end of the month,
Oh,
and then was somewhat hamstrung in the latter half of the month due to the shutdown of Golf Australia app, meaning that there were no competition rounds able to be played for the
mm,
last 2 weekends of the month.
yep, yep.
Obviously, that impacted everyone, yourself included, which is why you didn't get a card. May not have been the only reason, nevertheless.
Yeah, okay. Let's go with that.
Yeah. So Big K unfortunately didn't get a card in, which means, and this is where it gets really exciting, that the standings is leading the competition on 45 yearly championship points is Kerrod. Coming second is James Armstrong from
Mm.
the UK on 44 points with 1 point in it. It's the same difference
Yeah, wow.
between first and second as there is between Andy Walker and Mick Patterson. Just a
The,
lot more points involved.
the
That's
the
all.
competition's heating up, I can tell you.
Yeah, so that means that there are a number of players who still can mathematically win, which includes Lucas Anderson from South Australia, not Western Australia, includes Donny from Bathurst, includes me. I can still win this.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And includes Benny Walker and also Ted from Mollymook.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
So Benny
What
Walker,
about me? Can I
disclaimer,
win?
no, you can't win. Benny Walker, disclaimer, not related to Andy Walker or
No.
Ted from Mollymook, but is a Walker nonetheless. So there you have it. That's the wrap up of the yearly championship. That's exciting.
Mm.
Any thoughts, Andy Walker?
Well, 3/4 of the way through the year, we've got 3 months left. So get your card in, Pilgrims.
There's only one way to win it. That's be in it.
Unless like you don't have enough points at this stage and you can't win it.
Well, you should have been in it earlier, is probably the point.
I have been in it earlier.
Yeah,
I've
that's
been
the
in it
problem.
all year, just haven't,
That's
haven't been able to
the
put a
that's the
card in.
problem. Okay. So there's a bit more to it than just being in it. You've also got to
Yeah,
be in it
that's
well.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, fair. Definitely fair. All right. So I think this episode, Andy Walker, we were having a little bit of a chat earlier, might become known as embracing the grind.
Mm. Yes. Yes, it was.
Yeah. Which is fine. That's all part of the game. We've both got stories to tell. We've both got recent rounds, mine from the weekend, yours from today.
Yes. Yeah. Got up
So
this
that's
morning and
fresh.
had a bit of a crack this morning. It was actually a good day out. I really enjoyed it.
And then you played some golf after that, or what?
Exactly. Well, I don't know if you'd call it golf, but
Yeah.
I was on a golf course.
Look,
Yeah.
oh,
So swinging some clubs at a little white ball.
actually, there is a bit of voice of the Pilgrims that's worth sharing too. Sorry, let me get to that. I did mean to share this because I don't know if you saw this, but it's definitely worth a comment. And that was from friend of the show, Azim Kazmani. I don't know if you picked up on this one, but he says, listen to the latest episode yesterday. This was a couple of days ago, 2 days ago. He says, I wish I could score as well as Mr. Walker with an over the top swing.
Mm. There's a fair bit of practice that's gone into that over the top swing, though. And it's not the most reliable of swings, which is sort of why I have days like I did today. Spoiler alert. And yeah, why I can also have days like I did last week and a couple of good rounds I had last year. So it's unfortunately, though, it is inconsistent.
Yes. Well, you might be interested in the rest of Azim's message. He says, coincidentally, I signed up for Monty Scheinblum's efficient swing yesterday evening to work on my over the top movement. Now, if ever there was a golf coach, I think it's fair to say that Monty Scheinblum would be a name that I'd be searching out. Either that or old favourite and friend of Sandy Wedge's, what was his name? Manuel de la Torre, golf coach to the stars. Check him out on YouTube. He's a good watch as well.
Yeah, wow.
But anyway,
Okay.
yeah, if you're interested, either Monty Scheinblum or Manuel de la Torre are two golf coaches, both friends of the show.
Of course.
And come highly recommended.
By the pilgrims themselves.
Yeah, user beware. Do your own research. Would be my advice. All right. Shall we get into it? We might go in chronological order. What do you think, Andy Walker, and hit up with my round from Saturday,
Yeah, let's do that.
which to set the scene was a 7:48 tea time, nice and early in the morning.
It's a good tea time. That was my tea time this morning.
Was it really?
It was.
That is incredibly random, but good work. And I'm glad we played early because, gee, it got hot. It certainly got into the mid to late 30s out here in the Golden West, which for those playing along at home in the United States at least is getting close to tapping on the door of 100 degrees. So
Mm, mm.
Fahrenheit scale, so it's pretty warm. But we got out before the real heat of the day. I was excited to see one of my playing partners turn up in a nice pair of black slacks, which
Yeah,
was a decision
that's great in 38 degrees.
was a decision that he later came to regret. But anyhow, we were playing the monthly medal, so it was a stroke event, medal golf off the back,
Yep.
or as close as we could get to it because Royal Dubbo is actually undergoing some renovations at the moment, and there's a few holes that have been tinkered with, and one or two tee boxes that have been moved around.
Did I see footage of the opening tee shot?
Yeah, you did. You did.
That
You
was a
did.
bit tweet, wasn't it?
Oh, wasn't it though? I reckon. I was lucky to get the club to shoulder height on that one.
Oh, yeah, I was going
Um,
to say, like, it's, yeah, was almost parallel to the ground. Like, when you,
it was Tommy Fleetwood esque with his pitcher
it
wedge.
was.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. I didn't realize. Like, I mean, I know early in the morning I'd done no stretching. I'd done very little warming up other than jump in the cart and drive to the golf course, have a little swing in the net. But yeah, far out it was short. But it was out of the screws, and according to ShotScope, it went 238 meters down the right side of the
Nice,
fairway.
nice.
So, you know,
On a cool central west morning, that's not a bad opening tee shot.
yeah, which I feel pretty happy about being able to get one out that far when I'm playing with a not even 3/4 swing. But
I actually thought maybe you were just going with a punch drive, like
it looked like
put it back in your stance and just flight it under the wind. I mean,
yeah, I don't know if you looked at it too carefully, right? But Pilgrims, get
I
on the
think I was
Facebook,
laughing too much.
get on the Facebook page and have a look at this golf swing. It's horrible. And the one thing that's worth looking at, not just the shortness of the backswing, Andy Walker, but have another look at it, and just see how much bottom hand and bottom shoulder gets thrown into it at
Yeah,
impact.
right. Yeah.
Just to try and generate a little bit of club head speed. Anyway,
Nice.
it worked. It got me away up the fairway, which was good. Par five, OB up the right, but gave me an opportunity to then, probably with another half swing, bun a 5-wood up just short of the green, pitch on 2-putt par. So it was a pretty easy
Nice.
way to start, which was nice. Second hole was nothing to write home about. Found a bit of GUR because this is one of the ones that's being worked on off the tee. Got up nearby the green, chipped on 2-putt bogey. So we were +1 after 2. The third hole, though, Andy Walker, is one that we need to talk about. So the third hole, every now and then a drive can just go horribly, horribly wrong.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, so that happened on this hole. So the third hole is a par 4. It's a longish straight par 4. And I don't do this very often anymore, but every now and then there's the massive big high block cover drive, which came out, and it went high. It went over the trees, and on the other side of the trees, there's the 11th tee coming back the other way, and then just beyond that is the 16th green, and it landed kind of between the two.
Yep.
Stone dead and a long way from home. So there was a little gap over the top of the trees to maybe get an 8-iron back over the trees towards the fairway, but it was a very, very big ask. It probably needed about a 6-iron, but you couldn't do that because you needed to get the ball up relatively quickly. What made it more exciting is that a couple of the Pilgrims were actually on the 11th tee box playing in the other direction.
Right. Yep. Nice.
And the peanut gallery was in full force.
Love it.
So I hit the 8-iron. I got it up over, but it didn't have enough distance to get back to the fairway. So still in the trees, and faced with the conundrum of there was a high gap that you could maybe get a sand wedge over the trees towards the green, or you'd have to pitch out directly sideways
Yep.
and you'd still be 80, 90 meters out from the green. So which option do you think I chose, Andy Walker?
Oh, yeah. I mean, knowing you, you've probably like just gone for it. Is that? I mean, pitching out, I don't think is part of your repertoire at this
look,
stage.
it is when necessary. But this is one of those ones like I did get it over the trees and it was just short of the green. So it wasn't actually a bad result. Better than what it would have been if I went sideways because I was about another 60 meters closer. But pitched on and unfortunately missed the putt, tapped in for a double, which hurts. So anyway, what were we? We were +3 after 3. So we go to 4 long par 4, dogleg to the right.
Yep.
Cut a long story short, out of position off the tee, a little bit to the left, and made bogey. So we moved to +4 after 4. It's not the start I was hoping for, to be fair.
No. But I mean, it's not round over. I mean, you're playing monthly medal, off the back tees, championship pins. I mean, it's not a great start, but it's recoverable.
There's probably 2 things worth mentioning at this point. One is that the greens were very slow. And at this point, every putt had come up short.
Yep.
I just could not convince myself to hit it hard enough to get it to the hole.
Yep.
The other thing was the mental game was actually in pretty good shape at this point. And then all those things you just said, I was talking about, about just, 4 over. I could par in from here and shoot a 4 over round, which would be an outstanding day. The day's not done. Just one shot at a time, all those good things. So we step up onto 5. 5's a par 3. I was playing at about 140 meters. So what's that, about 155 yards, roughly? Hit 7-iron pin high, and I reckon I was about 15 to 18 feet away, relatively straight, but the pin was cut on the right-hand side, which is where the green drops away.
Yeah.
And if you go past the hole with the putt, you're gone, like you're off the green. So I was standing over the putt thinking, if I hit it past the hole, I'm probably chipping for my next. And then I was thinking, every putt you've hit so far, you've left short. So try and get it to the hole.
So give it a wrap.
You got to give it a bit more than you think. So anyway, I hit it beautifully online, and I've absolutely smashed it, which was good because it got it to the hole, and it hit the back of the cup, went about a foot up in the air.
Yep.
And dropped in the hole.
Nice.
The bird. And I can tell you right now that if it didn't hit the hole,
it was off the green.
It was gone. But anyway, we're back to +3 after 5. And then it pains me to say I bought a ticket and hopped aboard the bogey train to see out the 9 at +7.
Yeah.
Which, look, it's one of those things, not amazing. I was playing off 10 for the day because of the slope rating and, the calculations of the world handicapping system. So I thought, well, it's not the end of the world. I was up at +7. 3 shots to play with on the second 9. It's achievable.
Yep.
My playing partner playing off 18 in the black trousers was also off +7 after the first 9. So that was something to fight for and not get done by the B grader.
Yep.
In the baggy black pants on the second 9, which I raised that because we'll come back to that.
Of course you
did. So anyway, we move on to 10. 10 was a bogey. 11 was a par, which was good. 11's par 3, about 100, playing about 160 meters, flushed a 6-iron, bounced about 2 feet to the left of the hole. I just ran out to about probably 10 to 12 feet. Surprised you to hear that I left the putt short and then tapped in for par.
So have the greens just been renovated
The green's been
recently?
renovated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week they were super slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had cut them. They looked like they would be pretty good, but they were still very, very slow.
Mm.
Add
Mm.
to that, because we're playing in the morning, there was a bit of dew on the grass, so that didn't
Yep.
really help. They sped up a little bit on the second nine, but still slow.
Mm. Mm.
So we moved to 12. 12's the par five along the water. Hit a good drive, good 6-iron to the corner. And, on medal day, that pin position that's on the knob right on the back left that is
Yep.
impossible to get at.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So I hit a wedge and I stopped it up on that knob on
Yeah.
the
Right.
back left.
Yeah.
The only problem with it is the
And the
pin
pin wasn't
up
there. Excellent. Excellent.
So the pin was at the base of that slope,
Mm.
as and pilgrims, if you can imagine this, there's the back left of the green. It's like a little peninsula, which is
Yeah.
high.
It's
It's
like a
elevated.
postage stamp.
It's like a turtleback, really, right? And it's tiny. And then it drops down to the rest of the green, but the other three sides, it also drops significantly down off into the fringe.
Yep.
And the pin was cut kind of at the bottom of that drop off, but on the right hand side, as from where I was putting. So I'm putting towards the level difference where it will drop down off the ledge, and you can see on that it will drop down and it will kick it left. But the problem is, if you go a little bit too far right, it'll actually roll off the green and funnel off in that direction. So I took what I thought was a conservative line to not try and make the putt, but just to lag it to the top of that hill, and it would dribble down and hopefully finish about 5 or 6 feet to the left of the bowl. What I didn't really see coming was the speed of the green kind of held the ball up a lot more than I thought. It didn't quite make the ledge to go down, but it did make the drop off on the right hand side to roll off the green.
Wow.
So I'm on for regulation and I've putted
Off the green. Yeah.
And I'm now probably 4 or 5 feet below the green level, short sighted.
Excellent.
No, it wasn't.
How was the mental attitude after that?
Oh, look, okay. Just kind of went, all right. Well, that was disappointing. Let's focus on the next shot. So I hit a putt up and it bobbled through the fringe, kind of did some amazing things and finished about 8 feet from the hole. So I had an 8-footer to save bogey after hitting the green in regulation. Can you believe
Excellent.
it? Staring down the barrel of a 4-putt double. But Andy Walker, you'll be happy to know I made the putt and walked off with a fighting bogey.
Yep. But I mean, you putted like from off the green, so technically, like that's not a putt.
Yeah, it is.
I'm trying to see the positives.
It is a putt though. In the stats, it still counts as a putt, but far out. That was an adventure. So then we played 13. 13 is a long par 4, but shortened because of some renovation works that's going on. So they moved the tee up by about probably 80 meters. That now becomes a drivable par 4.
Yep.
And this was exciting. I blocked a drive a little bit left towards the left trees and got the bounce of your life that came back and actually sat just in front of the green.
Nice.
So that was good. Chipped on, should have made a birdie putt, but unfortunately it just kind of rolled past the right edge and tapped in for par. But that was kind of a bit of the one that got away, to be fair. 14, I made a fighting par at. You'll enjoy this one because I hit a good drive up the middle. It was a 6-iron into the green and hit it so fat that it went about, what did it go? It was a 6-iron, went 90 meters. It
Excellent.
was so fat.
Excellent.
So I was about, well, according to ShotScope, I was 53 meters to the flag, pulled out a sand wedge and hit it to 2 inches. Andy Walker and tapped in for par. So
easy tap in par.
That was one of those holes that you go, yeah, walk away with par. How'd you make par? Let's not focus on the details.
They don't draw pictures on the scorecard.
Yeah,
there's a good reason for that too.
That's right. I made a bogey at 15. Which 15 was playing tough. It's par 3 up playing up the hill into the wind at about 185 meters. Pretty much forced carry over water the whole way. Tough hole. So I think 4, I was pretty happy with that. Played 16. 16's par 5 rated the easiest hole on the course, and I cannot for the life of me agree with this course rating. But anyway, there you go. I had a look at birdie and made par. That would have been really handy to make a birdie there, because that kind of, I was currently, what was I, 3 over for the 9. So I was sitting at 10 over. I was sitting on handicap.
Yep.
To get one back there would have been really, really handy. It was about an 8-footer, just a bit of a right to left 8-footer, and just didn't read enough break, unfortunately. Or in fairness, probably did read enough break and probably pushed it a little bit, I think, if I'm being completely honest. 17, tough par 4. You might remember 17 is a long par 4.
Yep.
Hit a really solid drive, but pulled it a little bit right. But was fortunate to get through those trees and get a clear shot to the green.
That's sort of down near the
the
practice area.
Yeah, sort of
greenkeeper shed.
Past the practice range towards the greenkeeper shed. So I'd got through that tree line. Had a look at the left edge of the green, but the center of the green was blocked out by those 2 enormous poplar trees. So I either had to play for the left side or try and draw it around the poplars. I reckon I've hit the best iron shot I hit all day on this one. I hit a 5-iron flush and drew it around the poplars to the center of the green for a relatively easy 2-putt. In fact, the birdie putt very nearly dropped, even though it really didn't have much right to, from about 20 feet. So that was a tap-in par, which was awesome, which took me then to 18, currently sitting level with my handicap with 1 hole to play. It is my nemesis hole, let's be honest. The 18th at Dubbo. I have been known to double this over the years, as you know only too well from previous Macquarie Cups. Again, playing long and a bit into the breeze. So hit 5 wood and dragged it a bit right and a little bit long. But right's usually not too bad on this hole because the green slopes back to that side. So kind of chipping at the, at the bank. But seriously, I was behind the only tree. And too close to it to go over it. So had to go under it, through the rough, kind of try and bump and run one through the Kikuyu rough, which is never nice.
No.
So anyway, I managed to get a 7-iron under the tree, bumped it through the rough onto the green, and 2-putted, unfortunately, for bogey to finish with an 82, 11 over. So 35 points Stableford-wise for next month. Or this month, not last month. And I think Andy Walker, if I can be completely honest, it was like one of those days where I felt like I'd played pretty good golf. I didn't putt badly, but I didn't make anything. And finished with 36 putts for the round, which you kind of go...
It's just regulation then, isn't it?
Well, it's interesting because we talk about that. And it would be regulation if I hit every green in regulation, which obviously I didn't. So the 11 shots were all general play shots. But I feel like with that ball striking, that 82 could have been 76 without too much trouble. With 30, 31 putts here in the mid-70s. So it was a little bit disappointing, and it was a little bit pleasing though to still be able to grind that through and stay in every shot. And certainly after a 7 over front 9 to only have a 4 over back 9, that was definitely a good thing. Mentally, I think the round was good, but when I break it down for the stats, strokes gain goes like this against scratch handicap benchmark. Tee shots was minus 2.6, which is worse than where I've been lately. That's generally been at or above scratch. But even so, minus 2.6, that's not too bad. It kind of felt worse than that because I feel like just on 3 alone, that cost me 2 shots. Even though the stats probably wouldn't say that, but it did. Approaches was plus 0.91. Now, you'll know from previous rounds, my approaches, I've usually been losing about 4 or 5 shots to a scratch handicap play. So that's a really good result. And that, when you couple it with short game, was minus 0.88, which again, I've been losing sort of 2-3 shots on short game. I've done a lot of work in this area, and the biggest thing that I've changed actually is getting the weight distribution a little bit further forward.
Yep.
And far out, that's helped contact
Mm.
with irons so much. It's made a massive difference. So I feel like I'm on the right path there. The big one though was putting, which was minus 4.65.
Okay. Yeah. That's not great.
And that's been up and down. You know, that's been positive sometimes. It's been like this sometimes. This one I didn't feel like it was bad though. It was just I just didn't get the pace of the greens. I was leaving everything short for the first nine in particular. So
So how did you feel though when you were putting? Did you feel as though your stroke was okay, or did you feel like you had a snake in your hand, or like what was the general feel?
No, I felt good. I just couldn't get the speed.
Yeah.
I think I probably missed one putt that I really should have made. And I'm trying to remember exactly which hole that was on. That was on 7 on the par 5 where I made a 3-putt bogey after.
Yeah.
To be honest, though, I lost the shot with a poor pitch, not necessarily the putting. But I had a bit of I would have been about a 4-footer that was, sort of across that hill, but it was moving left to right, downhill, right to left. So it was a bit of a slider, and I actually, I just didn't hit it hard enough because I was a little bit tentative, so I didn't hold its line, and it just missed on the low side. But I should have made that one. I could have probably made another 4 on any given day, but I didn't. So I didn't really make anything that I wouldn't ordinarily have expected to, except the birdie putt on 5, which was a bit fortunate, but nothing else. Nothing else went in. Whereas on other days,
I think
sort of
another contributing factor as well is the fact that if the greens were slow because they've been renovated in the past few weeks, that can sort of throw your feel off as well. I mean, it needs to happen, but during that sort of transition period between the renovations and getting the greens back to being in good nick, sometimes the greens can just be a bit inconsistent. So, there might still be some of the core marks that are there that, the ball doesn't quite roll as true as what it otherwise would have. Of course, I mean, the greens out of Dubbo are normally pretty good. I mean, they normally have that. That's usually the best part of the course.
Oh, it is. And I think like one of the things is that it was a bit of an eye opener of how much I have become used to, true and fast greens, because that's what I play on a lot. And what's a little bit of a concern, because you want to be able to have your game travel effectively, right, and go to other courses and be able to play other courses. And one of the things that you need to be able to do that well is to adapt to the green conditions. Like, and after 1 or 2 greens, when you're seeing how they're rolling, being able to recalibrate. I literally just couldn't do that. I couldn't bring myself to hit the ball hard enough for what it needed to be. And so many times, like it would still finish, 6 inches short, 12 inches short, or for longer lag putts, I'd be leaving myself, say, a 5 or 6 footer to make par rather than, sort of tapping in a 1 or 2 footer. That was really the difference. But other than that, to be honest, I was pretty happy with it, because I didn't have my best T-ball game, and I've relied on that a lot lately. And so to not like to have to grind that out a little bit and, kind of find something off the tee, and then even just play some better recovery shots and make it up, with irons and wedges. I was really happy to see the improvement in that area. So that there's positives. There's definitely positives.
Yep.
I really like the fact that I didn't get cranky and frustrated and, throw the towel in.
Yeah.
Because that can happen when putts aren't dropping. And, but you're making bogeys where you feel like you should make pars.
Yeah, but also the other thing as well is that you've just come through. Well, if there is an off season in Australia, so we've just come through winter.
That's true. Yeah.
You haven't done a lot of practice, and we know with daylight savings here now, you'll be able to get out and just do those, maybe a couple of sessions a week of short game and putting, and that's going to sharpen up those areas as well. So I
Most
don't
certainly.
think there's too much to be concerned about. I think it's just a matter of you're a bit inconsistent at the moment because you haven't actually played that consistently through the off season. But now that you've got the opportunity to get out there a bit more often and after work and the like, then that'll change, and you've
Yeah.
got sort of 6 months now of daylight saving to be able to get some consistency and improve your scoring in those areas that probably need a bit of work.
There's no doubting that. And I mean, you can use the high performance center as much as you want. It's not the same as getting out on the
Yeah,
course.
it's not. I mean,
It's really
the high
not.
performance centers, it's and especially putting, it's
Yeah.
maintenance more than improvement.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that was my Saturday, Andy Walker.
Hmm.
Tell me
Hmm.
about your day today.
Um, yeah, look, it's sort of similar in a lot of ways in that it was a grind. I just and after a couple of weeks ago when I had my first comp round back and I actually hit the ball really, really good a couple of weeks ago, and I sort of expected that to continue because I've been doing a little bit of work on my swing just to get the over the top.
It's an interesting
Well,
word, expectation.
yes, and it's I guess my fault for having that expectation because a couple of weeks ago, I think I said before I went out, I didn't have
You
any
had no
expectation.
expectation. Yeah.
I just went out there to see where things were at, and I actually played really well. Whereas today, I actually went out with an expectation, and
Yeah.
I
Now,
just
now pilgrims. Sorry, Andy Walker. Pilgrims. Story time here. You need to learn from this because expectations are not good.
no, no. Well, I mean, yes and no. You've got to have a level of expectation, but yeah, it's you've also
Yes.
got to have a level of acceptance as well.
Mm, mm.
So
So
anyway,
we're high on expectation.
well, I don't know about high on expectation, but I certainly felt as though I wasn't. I was in a relatively good place.
Okay.
Um, and I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, to be honest with you. It just, I, my swing just felt off. I didn't have a lot of timing, and it started from the first tee, in that I hit just my three utility off the tee. It got probably the bottom groove, may have even been lower than the bottom groove,
How good's that feeling on
um,
the first?
and just sort of went sort of low and left up the left rough, and then, because I par five, I couldn't go for the green. I just wanted to hit a 6 iron up into a pretty good position to have a 60, 70 meter pitch. And again, I just hit my 6 iron straight left into the hazard. And I'm standing there going, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like it didn't actually hook even like because you know how like my bad shots the snap hook,
Yeah.
it just went straight left and stayed there.
What? Just an over the top smother.
Yeah, it was sort of like that. Sort of like that. Well, I mean, I had a bit of a hanging lie. The ball was slightly above my feet, but I didn't think it was a like a really bad lie, and like it was only a 6 iron. I didn't certainly didn't expect that result. So anyway, I took a drop, hit it on the green, couple of putts off to a pretty disappointing bogey, I have to
Mm,
admit. Whereas what
mm,
one even though I don't make birdie on it very often, it's still sort of a relatively good chance at making birdie.
mm,
So anyway, I thought, all right, well that's fine. Sometimes I get off to a bit of a scratchy start and I can grind my way back. So I had a reasonable par at two. I actually my birdie putt ended up about maybe an inch short of the hole, dead in the middle. And sort of similar to Dubbo, the greens have been renovated probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, so we're actually Coimbra had the club championships on, which I didn't play in, but they had the
mm.
Champos on over the weekend. So and the greens still they're not at their best, which I was a little bit surprised about, given that, we're in sort of championship season and got the first two rounds last weekend and the next two rounds this weekend. I mean, we've had a bit of hot weather and not
Yeah.
a lot of rain, so
Yeah.
there
But on
are
that point, though,
mitigating factors.
it amazes me how often this happens
Mm,
when you go to courses. And, obviously renovations are done prior, quite often prior to tournaments, and whether it's club championships or other events like take Macquarie Cup, for example, which is at Easter
mm.
time, the other time when the renovations get done at the back end of summer. It amazes me how often it is done not early enough to recover before big events get played. You
Yeah.
just see it time and time again.
Mm.
I don't know if there's any course superintendents out there listening to this. Like, it takes longer than you think for the greens to come back fully
Mm.
to where they need to be. And they're
Yeah.
usually at their best about 2 weeks after a major event.
Yeah, and it's because what the other thing that I see is that because I they renovated the greens when we were in Malaysia, so we're
Mm,
talking about a month or so ago now.
mm,
So it was the month before the first round of the Champos, and to me that doesn't give that, like, there's no fat there. There's no give. Like, you know you're cutting it really fine just in case something doesn't go according to schedule, which, given the hot weather and dry weather, something didn't go according to schedule. So they had to leave the greens a little bit sort of long and still recovering from the renovation. So for me, either, and I'm not a greenkeeper. I'm not, certainly not an expert in any way, shape, or form in that field. But for me, if you're going to have the Champos in sort of mid to late October, you need to have the green renovation a bit earlier, or push the
yeah,
Champos back if you need to. But
yeah,
the golf management and the greens management need to get their heads together and figure that out. That where
that's
there's
probably
there's
the
no
issue, to be
clash,
honest.
and there's a little bit more a little bit more leeway in case something doesn't quite
Yeah,
go according to the schedule.
yeah, I reckon you've hit the nail on the head there with the two parts of the business talking to each other. But
Mm.
anyway,
Yeah.
we're
So
not here as a
surprisingly
business
that
consultancy podcast.
yeah, I was going to say, so surprising that two departments of a
I
business
know,
don't talk to each other.
I know, right?
So anyway, look, I made par at two, three. I pulled my tee shot and I was a little bit blocked out, but had a reasonably good second on the front of the green. It was a long way to the to the pin, and I three jagged it for bogey. Solid par at four. Made a really good birdie at five. Hit a really good tee shot and hit a 5-iron that just covered par five,
Mm,
covered the flag. Probably ended up about 12 feet from the hole, so a 12-foot eagle putt. And I hit my eagle putt exactly where I wanted to hit it, just didn't break.
mm.
So that was a little bit disappointing, but it was a tap in birdie, like literally a 3 or 4 inch
Nothing,
tap in birdie.
nothing wrong with
The
that.
the guys that I played with sort of said, "Oh, you wouldn't mind a tap in birdie every hole." I'm just like, "Yeah, not gonna take that back."
No.
And then it just started the bogeys, the scrappiness. I thought maybe I could grind through it, but I made a pretty ordinary bogey at six, made a pretty ordinary bogey at seven. I made a good par at eight. I played eight fairly well, the par five, which, as we discussed last week, I normally hit my three utility off the tee. And actually, because it's been a bit dry, it ran a fair way, and I only had 206 meters to the flag, but there's just no room for error
Mm,
on that green. You've got the hazard short. It's a really it doesn't have a lot of depth in the green. It's a really shallow green, and there's a bunker long that if you get in the bunker, it's a
yeah,
it's dead.
you're
So
probably in the hazard for your next one.
yeah, exactly. So for me, I just hit a really good 7-iron up to or 64 meters to the flag.
Perfect.
Hit a really good pitch that landed on the green and just spun back to the front of the green, and an easy two putt. Um, then on nine, I was on the green in regulation and three putted.
Oh,
So
so
it
that's
was
two
it.
in the front nine.
Um,
Two three-putt bogeys
that
in the front nine.
well, it's actually three. Well, technically was two, but on the sixth hole, I was just off the side of the green, and I three putted. So, yeah, technically two, but in reality, I
And
had
this is off the back.
three
This is off the
putts
back
with
of
my putter,
four
four
in
three
the
putts last week.
yeah.
Yeah. So
That's rust, honestly.
yeah, it is, and that's what it was. It's what it is not being in that competition grind.
Yeah.
And as much as I wanted to be in the grind, sometimes you just can't get
Yeah.
yourself
It's
into
a
the
the
grind.
it's also a muscle. Like we've talked about this so many times that,
Mm,
and that's why it's important when it's not going your way to grind as hard as you can because you're training that muscle. And
mm,
the fact that you haven't had the opportunity to be out there doing it for the last 6 months
mm.
obviously makes it harder.
Yep. Yep. And it's also that, again, the consistency of speed on the greens. I did have
Mm.
a few longer putts on the front nine, and I was leaving a lot of them short. There are a couple that I got the speed
Mm.
right, but then on nine, I just smashed it about 6 feet past the hole.
Yeah.
And, I walked off nine going, I don't feel as though I did a lot wrong as such. I mean, there wasn't these big roping hooks that, and some of the really bad golf that I've played at different stages. But, I walked off four over going, yeah, I just, yeah, it was hard to put my finger on it, but it was the grind. It was just not having a lot of timing,
Mm.
not really having a lot of feel on the greens. But I thought, you know what, I'm four over. It's not the end of the world. It's not like I was six, seven, eight over like I have been on different occasions. So I thought, all right, well let's just get back in and just see where the back nine goes. So I made a bit of a scrappy par on 10. On 11, which is a par four with water all the way down the right hand side, I've hit my three utility down the right, and it got the worst kick ever and kicked into the hazard. And I just went, really? And because it was like the fairways were quite firm, and as
Yeah.
soon as I got the kick, and I saw the kick, I went, that's in the hazard. And my
Mm.
playing partner was like, oh, no, I should be right. Should have pulled up. But we got down there. And as soon as we got down there, I knew it was in the hazard. So I took a drop, hit a pretty ordinary 9 iron onto, well, it was the back part of the green, just onto the fringe,
Mm.
and then three putted.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's that? Is that a
So
double?
that was a double.
Yeah.
So I walked off 11 even more frustrated than
Yeah.
what I had been on nine, because again, just trying to get back into the grind of it, and I felt like it wasn't far away, but I just couldn't
Mm.
I couldn't grab it.
I
It
think we
was
all
it
know
was
that feeling.
it was
Pilgrim, if
yeah,
you're
it
listening
was
right now, put your hand up if you're driving. If you're on public transport, even better, just put your hand right up in the air if you know that feeling.
yeah, yeah. And it's not like, I mean, you go out there some rounds, and you just, it's so bad that you just don't know what you, like you've got no idea or understanding of what you're doing. I It didn't feel that good, but I didn't feel that bad that I felt as though I couldn't bring it back. I always had the feeling that, okay, I'm not far away.
Yeah.
I just can't quite grab
It's,
hold of it. And whether
yeah.
that's, a lack of competition practice or whatever, I'm not quite sure. But it was just, you felt like, reaching out, and you could reach it, but you couldn't quite reach it, if that makes
I don't
sense.
know. I mean, yeah, it probably is. It probably is rustiness, to be perfectly honest, because you haven't played that much,
Mm,
and there's just little calibrations in your swing that are a little bit out. But also, it's one of those things. I think that when it feels like that, and when it's just slightly off, and you're like it's nearly there. I know I'm not far away. I guess there's also the tendency to then try and control it a little bit more to get
mm.
like to bring it back. And as we
Yep.
know, like that favorite quote with Josh Nichols, that you gain control by
Letting
giving
go of
away
it. Yeah,
control.
yeah, yeah.
And maybe just that try too hard a little bit in those situations,
Mm.
and you need to just sort of take the foot off the gas a little bit and just let it happen and
Yep.
relax a bit. I don't know, but there might be something in that.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
Um, but look, I made a solid par at 12. On 13, I've hit and 13 is my nemesis hole with the water all the way down
Yeah.
the left hand side. So I never hit driver off that. We were playing off the really front tee, so we hit a 4 iron. You know, was okay down the sort of left center of the fairway. I had 154 meters to the flag, and I probably hit my worst shot of the
Oh man.
day, which was short left and never looked like going anywhere else but in the water. And again, it was sort of similar to the my second shot on the first, whereas it wasn't a hook. It
Mm.
just started left and stayed there. And yeah, I just looked at it and just went, really? Like that's just yeah, I don't know. I didn't have any words at this stage. So
Probably a
I
good
took
thing.
a drop, probably about 45 meters to the flag, and I've hit followed up by probably my best shot of the day. Whereas I hit a really good, solid pitch that landed once and just stopped right next to the flag, about 30 centimeters from the flag, and tapped in
Nice.
for bogey. So I guess the good thing is that I've followed my probably my worst shot of the day with my best shot of the day. So that was a positive.
That is.
Then on
And
fourth,
a good reminder, sorry, good reminder, Pilgrims, that golf is a series of independent events, not
mm,
a string of connected moments.
yep, yep, absolutely. So on 14, fairly short par four, I hit my three utility off the tee. I had 88 meters to the flag, and this is the green, sort of bit of a kidney shaped green where
Mm.
you've got a bunker uh, sort of in the middle of the kidney shape, and the pin was just over the bunker, tucked around the
Nice.
side of the bunker again, which sort of championship position on a Tuesday members comp. So I didn't aim at the flag. And this is one of those shots that I've been doing a fair bit of work on in the high performance center, just getting my distances. So I had a fairly good idea of how hard I needed to hit it. And I pulled out my 54 degree, slightly downwind, and my distance, 88 meters, but I wanted to hit it 80 meters. And I hit it exactly as I wanted to, exactly on the line that I wanted to, and it landed on the back part of the green and just kicked over the green, and that is dead.
Dead. Yep.
Yeah, there's nothing good over the back of the green. Short sighted, really big slope down to the 15th tee, and yeah, pin was on the back, slightly sloping from back to front. So I had nothing. Like it wasn't there's not even a fringe that I can land it on. It's just
Mm.
it's rough pretty much all the way to the fringe. So really didn't have anything. I hit a pitch that landed on the green, but then rolled over the green to maybe 10 feet sort of over the other side of the green, not quite in the bunker, but wasn't too far from the bunker. And then I hit a little sort of chip pitch back to about sort of 3 or 4 inches and tapped in for bogey. So
Yeah, that's good.
again, I didn't feel as though I did a lot wrong,
Mm.
but it might just be that lack of competition practice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it sounds like. It just sounds like rust.
Mm,
Your
mm,
calibration's a little bit out and
yep.
all those things.
So I made a fairly solid par at 15. 16 hit a great drive down 16. My best drive of the day. It was 258 meters, so decent.
So
Uh,
how long do you think your backswing was on that?
longer than yours on the first, I can tell you.
Mm.
Yeah, by this stage on 16, I was relatively well warmed up.
Yeah.
And I had a pitch of 67 meters, which again hit a really good pitch into about 1.5 meters, and then I missed the putt.
Oh man.
So,
Oh,
as I was walking into the green, and maybe this is, one of those things that, and not that I think this impacted my putt, because I actually didn't hit a bad putt. It was a misread. It was a complete misread. I hit the putt exactly where I wanted to hit it. But as I was walking up to the green, I was sort of doing a few numbers in my head. And at that stage, I was 8 over. And I
mm,
thought, oh, if I birdie this, if I make that and get it back to 7, I can still possibly break 80, which, considering how badly I felt I'd scored, wasn't going to be a bad result. And then I stood up and missed the putt.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So 17, again, short par three with water pretty much all around it, except for the left-hand side. Hit a reasonable shot in there to around about 12 feet. And again, just a misread. I hit the putt exactly where I wanted to, exactly the speed I wanted to, just stayed, didn't take the break and stayed on its line. Then stood up on 18, and 18 is a par four, sort of dog legs around the water all the way down the left hand side,
mm.
and just pulled a full fairway into the hazard on the
Oh
left.
man.
And
So did
yeah,
you have to re-tee, or was there a place to drop?
no, I was able to sort of go down and drop sort of near one of the hazard pegs, but I let out a fairly loud expletive at
Which
that
one?
point in
Did
time.
you yell out golf?
Yes, yes,
Oh, golf.
that's exactly what I said. So anyway, got down there. I was around about 210
Mm,
to the flag. And I took a drop, and the ball, as it usually does, when you take a drop in the rough, ended up in a really sort of scungy, sort of sitting down lie. But I still wanted to hit my full fairway to try and get it out there. Hit an okay shot to the right hand side of the green, pitched up to probably about 15 feet, and then hold the putt for bogey. So finished with a up and down bogey after hitting it in the hazard for a 81 9 over. Or was that 29 points? Because they had me playing off two today.
mm.
So yeah, it was just one of those rounds that I as I said, I felt good a couple of weeks ago, but it was just I just couldn't quite get my hands around the good swing again. And I mean, effectively 4 3 putts again. I mean, yeah, two of the 3 putts were from off the green, so technically they're not 3 putts, but to me,
Feels like it.
they were still 3 putts. Hit it in the hazard 4 times on 1, 11, 13, and 18.
Mm.
Just yeah, was one of those days that I felt like I played a reasonable hole, then I'd play a poor hole, play a reasonable
Mm.
hole, then have a poor hole.
Mm.
And I couldn't get off it. I couldn't get that off that alternate bogey train.
Yep. The alternate
So
stations.
yeah, so going through my stats, driving was, and this is compared to a scratch handicapper, minus 1.7. With driving, approach play was minus 3.8, and that was probably about right. I didn't feel as though my irons were particularly good today. They were probably the worst part of my game. Short game was minus zero point 0.1. And that was probably a highlight, especially my pitching. As I said, I've been doing a bit of work with my pitching and distance control from that sort of 40 to 100 meters. Been doing a fair bit of work with the square launch monitor, which we'll cover in the next maybe next episode, because that's number 100, maybe the one after that.
Yep.
Putting was minus 2.9, which again sort of felt as though that was about where it was. I mean, I had 34 putts for the round,
Mm.
so not far from your regulation 36.
Crazy.
Only hit 10 out of 18 greens in reg, whereas sort of last week was
What are you,
13, or the week
13 or
week
something?
before was 13.
Still
Um,
10, 10's not bad by any
Yeah,
stretch.
and given how badly I felt as though I hit it, and that's one of those sort of those things that I sort of every second hole,
Yeah.
I played reasonably well, and then a couple of three putts thrown in there. So, you know, you end up with, well, I ended up with 10 greens in regulation. So you sit back and you go, yeah, that's not too bad. But I was a long way from the flag with a lot of the greens in reg. I mean, I had a lot of, 30 to 40 plus foot first
Yeah.
putts.
Yeah.
Not that I'm making an excuse for three putts, but yeah, um, I just, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those days, and I don't think I'm going to read too much into it. I haven't had a chance to fully digest it yet, but for me, I'm just going to sort of, just bring it back to the fact that, okay, well, I haven't played a lot this year, and I'm just sort of finding my feet again, and I've got to get those. I talked a lot last year about, putting some reps in, and I think
Mm.
that's what I just need to do.
Oh, it is. It is. I also do want to put a little bit of perspective on this, and we're calling this episode "Embrace the Grind" for obvious reasons, and so we were embracing these results and not running away from them. But a couple of things that's worth mentioning, and you shot an 81, okay, and I know you want to shoot better than that. Obviously, you're playing off, 2/3. Um, 81 is still pretty good golf at the end of the day. Like it's not. There's plenty of people
Yeah, I mean it's not
there's plenty of
ugly.
people that are out there, and probably even that are listening to this podcast that are going, I'd love to be able to shoot an 81. Like I'm battling around
Yeah,
trying to break 90 or something along those lines. And I know you're not
yeah.
comparing yourself to those types of players. Okay, I can see that in your
And
face,
and
bro.
and, and I know
But
how it sounds. I mean, I shot 81 on a bad day. Like
yeah,
it's not bad. Like it's not
it's
bad
not bad
golf.
golf.
Yeah,
It's not
I
bad golf.
understand that, which is
And
why
and
I'm not you know super disappointed in it. Like it's still, I understand that
yeah,
it was still
you
a
want
good
to
day. I would rather have gone out and shot 81 than been at work. Like it's not, it was good
yeah,
company. We had a really good day out. It was a lovely day. It was, clear sky and, nice and warm. So, nothing wrong with the day at all. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we're here for self-improvement and to try and
yeah,
be the best that
yeah.
we can be. So
That's right. But there's also times just to kind of keep things in perspective a little bit too. It's not bad golf. Like, and because I also looked at, like my round, I shot an 82, and I felt like when I walked off, and the interesting thing, and this has happened a few times lately as well, which is a good sign, because I walked off with an 82, and I actually walked off kind of a bit gutted and a bit feeling like I'd left quite a few
mm,
out there.
yeah,
Um, but if I went back a couple of years ago, I'd be stoked with an 82.
mm, yeah,
I'd be really, really happy with that, and that'd be probably one of my best rounds.
mm,
Whereas now it feels like it's not an amazing day, and
mm,
and that's a good sign. But the other thing which is interesting, so it actually ended up being a flag round as well. It slipped into my top eight, which dropped me
yep,
from 9.2 to
mm,
9.1. Woohoo.
yep,
Um, but what was interesting on that, I don't know if you've done this, but when with the new Golf Australia website, when you go on not on the app on your phone, but when you actually go on the website
mm,
and you check your handicap, and it gives you your handicap index, but then it also gives you three boxes, and it says what percentage of your club that places you in, what percentage of New South Wales it places you in, and what
yep,
percentage of Australia it places you in
mm,
handicap. They're all pretty similar, as you'd expect. And at 9.1, it said top 8% of Dubbo Golf Club, top 10% of New South Wales handicaps, and top 9% of Australian handicaps.
nice.
I thought so, but
Mm,
that's what it says. So you got to keep that in mind, that the scores that you're shooting, it's still like even an 81, that's still top 10% golf.
yeah, yep. Yeah, yeah, and look, I'm fully aware of that. Just on that note of handicap, which is sort of one of the things I was also gonna bring up, because I dropped off. Mine wasn't a flag round,
Mm.
but because I dropped off my point 0.8 gross differential from the 9th of April last
Oh,
year,
this
2024, when I
this
had
is gonna
41
hurt.
points playing off five. I had even par.
This is gonna hurt.
My handicap has gone from 2.1 to 2.6. Half a shot.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. However, even more, not concerning, but yeah, something that's going to, it'll be interesting to see where it goes, is my next round that's dropping off is my
This is
two
your
under
2 under.
round
Yeah.
from the 30th of April last year, which is a plus 1.6 gross differential when I had
Yeah.
42 points playing off four. So yeah, my handicap may go northwards a little bit over the coming weeks, depending on how I play. Because I've then got another flag round after that, a 2.8, which was the Camden Seniors. So yeah, may end up back around the four mark before I know what's going on.
Sword of Damocles is hanging above your head once again.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, look,
So
it
so
happens.
potentially a dark horse for the yearly championship.
If that's how you want to win it, sure. Um, yeah, not gonna happen. Actually, you mathematically can't.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, look,
But I've
that's
but
I
I've got
think
Mick
that
Patterson in my sights though.
you got him in your sights. Yeah, come on, Mick. Come on, Mick. Um, anyway, that's a bit funny. There is one other little random story that I wanted to share with you, Andy Walker. I haven't told you this yet. On Monday,
Mm.
um, we had a little bit of a unplanned family long weekend due
Oh
to
yeah. Yep.
a few things that needed to happen. So, um, girls went off and did their thing, and myself and young Mister Hinks, whom everyone would know as the world's best 12-year-old caddy,
Mm.
we actually went out and played his first ever 9 holes
Oh yeah. Nice.
off the yellow markers around holes 19 to 27 at Royal
Yep.
Dubbo, um, which was an awesome amount of fun. It was so
Mm.
good to do. It was very, very cool experience to take him around and do that. And there was one particular moment that I think that you might find amusing. So we were working on alignment because it's a bit of a thing at the
Mm.
beginning
Mm.
of actually figuring out where you want to hit the ball and lining up with the target for where you want to hit the ball. So we've been working on that. And then there was one point where he flushed the best drive that he'd hit all day, but his alignment was a bit off. So it actually hit one of the trees on the left, bounced
Yep.
out. That was fine. But obviously, he was feeling the feels that all of us as golfers understand. And he turned around and he went, "Oh, Dad, why is it that the best shots I hit have to hit a tree?" And I said, "Mate, because that's golf."
Yep.
And then he looked at me and he goes, "What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense. Why do they call it golf?" And I looked at him and I said, "Because every other four-letter word is taken."
Yep.
And
Yep.
I felt like my life had been building up
Yes.
to that particular
Yep.
moment.
Yep. Yep. Excellent. Excellent.
It was a lot of fun. And he just looked confused and then went and found his ball and hit it anyway.
Mm.
But
Mm.
it was a lot of fun. So let that be the first of many, is all I can
Mm.
say.
Now,
And
was that in a cart? Did you take
yes, we took
put
the
the cart
cart.
out
Yeah,
to?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Because it was
And because
about 700
I've
degrees as well. So that was going
yeah.
to be a struggle.
Yeah, because I've taken my young bloke out a couple of times, and we first of all started playing in a cart, and only sort of a few holes, and he just used to like just grab a club and
Yeah,
go and whack it, and wasn't really playing golf as such. He wasn't really holing out. He was just sort of going and doing his own thing. But then there was a couple of times when we first moved up the coast and at Coimbra where we actually walked.
mm,
But because he didn't have a great deal of understanding of pace and etiquette, I had to keep trying to go, come on, mate. You
yeah,
got to hurry up. And I think that put him off a little bit. We haven't sort of gone
yeah,
out since.
yeah,
But where I'm going with that is and it's interesting that you bring this up because on the way to golf this morning, I was listening to one of the Golf Beneath the Surface episodes,
yeah,
and Dr. Raymond Pryor was talking about the best way to let young kids come into golf or any sport at that age is just to let them have unstructured play and
yeah,
not be too rules based.
yeah,
And I was thinking about it going, yeah, you know what, we had, and this was sort of when we were in Sydney, and I was at Stonecutters Ridge. We went out occasionally on a Saturday afternoon in a cart, and we had so much fun when, in the cart, and I let him sort of drive the cart down the fairway and all this sort of stuff. Um, Hopefully, no one at Stonecutters Ridge is listening to this
I
podcast.
think the
But
general manager is a pilgrim.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Long time ago now.
yeah, you're not a member
But
anymore
yeah, I
anyway,
sort
so
of look
whatever.
back because I
Yeah.
reckon that, and my daughter's a little bit young at this stage. She's only 8, but she's already asked a number of times to come out and play golf with me, and that's what I'm going to do probably for the first couple of years.
Mm.
Is just put her junior set of golf clubs on the back of the cart, hire a cart, and just let her have fun and see where she goes with it. Because I'd love to obviously have one of my kids get into golf and catch the golf bug. I mean, they're both playing tennis at the moment, which is great.
Mm.
Tennis is a great sport, but yeah, I'd love for one of them to just one of them to be able to catch the golf bug. So I've got more of an excuse to get out in the golf course.
Yeah, I think, look, to be honest, I think in time it will happen, and you'll probably find that they both will in their own way. But you spot on, and there's, you know, golf beneath the surface actually gives some great parenting advice
Mm,
of not just beginner, but even, looking after the way that you might deal with, kids that have got a lot of ability and are working through things. And I think there's a lot to learn from those guys,
mm.
and
Oh,
that's opened
100%.
my eyes to a few things as a parent too.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and that's where, yeah, on this, like, we were having a good time. We weren't keeping score. We're just playing some shots and, trying to have a few little pointers here and there, but also being super mindful of not over instructing, because that's
Yeah.
a massive turn off
Mm,
for a young
mm,
golfer.
mm,
Just a
mm.
couple of things working on, just, pick a target, line up, yeah, try and hit the ball.
Yep. Yep.
And the other one is watch it till it stops.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Which,
But one of I guess leading into that sort of conversation that was on Golf Beneath the Surface on this podcast was Dr. Amon Pryor was talking about the way that kids, and especially young kids, need to have that unconditional security that they don't need to be anyone
mm,
as such. There, and enjoy about expectation. And we had
mm,
a brief sort of conversation of expectation when I was talking about my round. But that's the whole thing, is that the unstructured play with no expectation, and regardless of what they do, whether it's good, bad, or whatever, you're still going to be there, and you're going to give them unconditional love at the end of it. And as they get better, that still needs to be prevalent, in regardless on whether they play good, average, or not. You're still going to go out and get an ice cream at the end of the round and
spot
treat
on.
them exactly the same.
Spot on. Linked to that is also, and this can be done even well-meaning when you're giving kids praise for, playing well. That actually then can create the fixed mindset, because it links the, I get praise when I am good at golf. Being a
Mm.
good golfer is important to me. Therefore, having a bad round is a real
Yep.
identity shock and
Yep.
creates all those things. It's all very relevant. By way of making this relevant to our stories tonight and to the pilgrims, is that through the lens of dealing with kids in sport, but the little kid inside you never goes away, and
Mm.
it's actually important
Correct.
to treat yourself like that the whole
Mm.
time. And
Yep.
we could both take that on board for the reflections of these rounds as well, of,
Mm.
you know it's a round, it's one step in many, and there's good parts of it, there's bad parts of it. That's golf. That's going to happen.
Yep.
But when you look at it, you go, all right, there's skill execution that could improve in certain areas, but then at the same time, there's really good stuff about staying connected to the round and staying in the fight and staying in the grind and embracing the grind. And that's more important than, I'm a good golfer because I had a round today, or I'm a bad
Mm.
golfer because I had a bad round today.
Yeah. 100%. Completely agree.
There's a lot to think about.
Mm. There is. There is.
And whilst we think about all of those things, Andy Walker, Is there anything that we should do to help us think it through?
Well, look, I mean, I've been I've actually been getting into a little bit of meditation in recent times, and I've actually tacked it on the end of my exercise sessions.
Mm.
And meditation is really good to be able to calm the mind and set yourself up for the day, which I think is really really important. But then there's another thing that I think is also super super important that you need to do
Mm.
just to hype yourself up a bit and get that energy flow.
Or maybe to unwind if you need to.
Hmm.
I think we're on the same page here, Andy Walker, but just to make sure, please tell me what this thing is.
Rock out, pilgrims.